Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Li-Ning Yu Shuai 15. So this shoe is going for like 120 bucks. There are some colorways and also some sizes that are a little bit cheaper, maybe like 110, 100 bucks. I don't know why they change up the price for that, but they do. It is available on Amazon if you guys do want to cop. I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. I just got this yellow one, I don't know, just because I don't really have any yellow shoes and I don't know, kind of looked flashy, I guess, so I decided to get it. But anyways, links are below, but let's get it started right off with the tracciones. And as far as the traction pattern goes, we have, it kind of looks like a shuriken, you know, and I really like how it looks. The overall pattern looks awesome. We have some holes here in the forefoot. I don't really know what these do. And also here in the middle of the outsole, we have what I'm guessing is a plastic midfoot shank plate. You know, we can only see a little plastic piece here that's exposed, and also the boom cushion, which we'll get into. So how does the traction perform? So on a clean court, you're gonna have an amazing bite. It's a very loud squeak as well, which I like. So amazing performance on a clean court, but on dust. All right, so on dust, it picks up dust pretty fast. And I found myself wiping pretty often. I would say maybe every 1 to 2 plays. But it's an easy wipe, which is a good thing. So I just went 1 or 2 easy wipes and it was clean, it was good to go. And I had a really good stop again. But also it was very inconsistent on a dusty setting for hard stops, right? So if I was doing a hard lateral movement or kind of like pulling up and doing a hard stop like that, I would slide out pretty often even when I wiped and it was a very clean surface, right? So definitely do watch out for that. And I found myself kind of trying to be careful, and it felt a little dangerous. So if you're playing on a clean court, just if you wipe, you should be good to go, but just be careful, especially if you're doing really hard stops. And if you want to be completely safe and you're playing on a dusty court, most of the time I would suggest probably staying away from this shoe. But for the most part, if you wipe, you're pretty much good to go. But like I said, you have to do it pretty often. For durability, you should be fine. Chinese companies, especially Li-Ning, make very durable outsoles. The rubber seems super hard. You have a lot of surface area for grooves, and the grooves are super deep. So durability, you should be fine as well. So overall, I liked the performance of the outsole. Just the performance on dust wasn't the best. Alright, moving on to heel to toe transition is super smooth, especially here in the heel. We got a nice curve shape. It is super caged for the cushion, as you guys can see, which kind of sucks, but it didn't feel too clunky just because of this nice curve shape. Here in the forefoot, we have a very curved shape and we have a lot of forefoot flex. So overall, doing heel dominant strides down the court, it was pretty damn smooth. And now moving on to the cushioning setup, pretty lackluster and kind of disappointing, right? So when I first got it, we do have a heel crash pad in the insole, which felt nice. It does improve the comfort, but it did bottom out. And as I mentioned before, you guys can see all this caging. They cage it all around the heel, so there's no compression in the heel from the midsole, right? And so that definitely does suck. We have a combination of cloud. So the cloud foam is right here, right? We can definitely see it here on the medial side. And then right underneath that, we have boom cushion. And boom cushion is super soft. There's a good amount of bounce, feels great. But it's bottom loaded. So your foot is pretty much right on top of that cloud, and cloud is pretty soft, it feels nice, but the step and comfort isn't the greatest just because the strobe board stayed pretty stiff. And yeah, it was a very responsive cushioning setup that felt kind of low to the ground. I mean, it didn't have the best core feel, but it wasn't terrible either. I would say impact protection was also adequate. It wasn't amazing, but also it wasn't terrible. Like my feet weren't hurting or anything, but like on super hard impacts, I would feel the impact on my foot a little bit. So I mean, like if you want a responsive cushioning setup with pretty good core feel and adequate impact protection, then this is a great cushioning setup. But if you're looking for anything like amazing, like good compression, softness, great step and comfort, really good impact protection, anything like that, then don't expect it from this cushioning setup. For me personally, it was alright, you know. I like a responsive cushioning setup with adequate impact protection, so I didn't mind it, but nothing really blew me away with this cushion. Alright, moving on to the materials. So they're calling this the cool shell, and we'll get this right off the bat. The ventilation is really good. So we have a lot of airflow through this material here in the forefoot and also through the tongue. It's a very wide open mesh here for the tongue, and there's really good airflow through that as well. So ventilation overall is really good. So here in the toe box, it's very thin and it's a little flimsy. I don't know if you guys can hear it. So it's not the most like high quality or best quality material, but it gets the job done, especially on foot. It's soft, it's thin, it feels super minimal, especially here in the toe box. There is a little bit of fuse for extra added durability and support, but it doesn't really make the overall material feel stiff or uncomfortable or anything. I didn't really need to break it in either. I feel like they put the fuse material where you kind of need it, for support, which we'll get into. Here in the midfoot, it stays extremely thin, as you guys can see. Although it feels a little glued down. It feels a little bit stiffer here in the midfoot than here in the toe box, but not a huge deal. And then here in the ankle area, we have pretty much no padding. There's very little padding, and also for the tongue, there's very little padding as well. So the overall material feels extremely thin, but also, like I said, it conforms to your foot very well. So I had no problems with this material at all. I actually really liked it, especially the good ventilation that you got. Moving on to the fit. So this shoe fits pretty snug, and I feel like most people should go up half a size just because it fits me very well and very snug. So if you go true to size, you just be careful. It's probably gonna be a very snug fit. And the only reason I feel like you should go true to size is if you want a really snug fit and you have a very skinny foot. Other than that, if you have a normal size foot and you still want a snug fit, you should probably go up half a size. If you have a very wide foot or you want a really roomy fit, probably go up a full size. So for me, toe box, snug. Also width-wise for me, it was slightly narrow. So it fit me very well. I like a nice snug fit. Also, this shoe isn't the easiest to put on just because it is a mid-top. I guess the heel tab does help and the tongue does open up a good amount, but it's not the easiest to put on just because of the high top nature of the shoe. Alright, moving on to support and lockdown, I had zero issues. Amazing support and lockdown. So for lateral containment, as you guys can see, we have this cool shell, and like I mentioned before, we have the fuse material, which stiffens up this material here on the lateral side in the forefoot. And then here in the midfoot, we have the foam coming up, acting as a sidewall. And then here in the heel, we have this caging acting as a sidewall. And we have an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, I had zero issues with. Lateral stability also super good. We have a nice wide base. You're low to the ground here in the forefoot. And ankle support, I would say, is alright. You know, it's comparing it to like, you know, the Mellow MB1 or the KD14, KD13, or Kyrie 8, which gives like no ankle support. The Yu Shuai 15 gives a little bit of ankle movement restriction, just a little bit. I still wouldn't say it's amazing, but get a little bit. So if you're looking for I guess like okay ankle support, then the Yu Shuai 15 is a good option. Alright, moving on to the overall weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it was like kind of heavy. Yeah, 13.62 ounces. That's definitely heavier than average. 13.97. That's holy crap, 14 ounces. Yeah, that's a little bit on the heavier side. And does it feel heavy? Yeah, it feels a little heavy, but it doesn't feel super bulky. As you guys can see, the material is super streamlined to your foot. There's not a whole lot of foam or bulk from the material. It just feels like more like bottom heavy, right? It's a bottom heavy shoe, but also like the foam doesn't protrude out or anything. It doesn't feel super bulky, which is a good thing. And also you feel pretty damn responsive when you're playing in it. You know, traction overall is really good, besides when it slips out sometimes. Cushion overall, you're very responsive. And so yeah, when you're playing with this shoe, you feel very quick. It's just like not the lightest feeling shoe, which, you know, for me, not a huge deal. Alright, moving on to the aesthetics. I like it. You know, Li-Ning's been killing it. They're making really good looking shoes, and I do like this overall colorway. This yellow is more like a warmer orangey yellow color, and we have a red lining, which, you know, which looks great. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Yu Shuai 15 is a solid shoe. I wouldn't say it's my favorite shoe just because the traction was a little inconsistent, especially on dust. Cushion also was very underwhelming. Like I said, I enjoyed it and I like a responsive cushioning setup, but if you can have like a really nice, soft, comfortable cushioning setup like the Kyrie 8 or the KD14 or something like that, then I'd like that, you know? And also not the lightest feeling shoe, but like I said, it's a responsive feeling shoe, so it wasn't a huge deal. So overall, it's a solid shoe. I mean, if you're looking for a really supportive shoe, this is a great shoe. I feel like most big men would like it. If you're a guard, I feel like this is a pretty good option, but not the best option. And this shoe kind of reminds me of like the Hyperdunks. What Hyperdunks was to Nike is what the Yu Shuai model is for Li-Ning, right? So like I said, solid shoe. Not my favorite shoe to play in, but it's a solid shoe and I feel like most people will enjoy playing in it. But anyways, that about wraps up this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.